Hi, good evening. Good evening, Marco. I think you can hear me. Good evening, all the participants from all over the world. Actually, it is really unexpected because we have more than 350 participants, online participants in the webinar, and through the live streaming in Facebook and YouTube, we have more than 500 participants. It's unbelievable number of attendees. I mean, that is mainly because of the one is because of you, Marco, you and your topic, and also the hard work and hard effort of my team. You may wonder why we selected Marco for this particular presentation. I'll come to that later. But before moving forward, I thought like I should give an introduction on why we are doing and what is the reason behind arranging this particular webinar. Well, one thing I need to tell you, this particular webinar series was organized by University of Moratuwa 𝓵 team. When I say 𝓵 team, it's a project handling with a lot of international participation with 10 countries and with 14 universities. So I think we should know what is this 𝓵 case. We will show you a small video on 𝓵. Then after that we will come to the topic again. We'll see what is 𝓵 case.
Every year, thousands of projects are submitted by organizations across Europe in order to receive financial support from the Erasmus program. For this reason, the Commission has set up a transparent evaluation process that aims at providing grants for the best projects. Project 𝓵 is one of the co-funded programs by the Erasmus+. Word 𝓵 stands for Integrating Education with Consumer Behavior Relevant to Energy Efficiency and Climate Change at the Universities of Russia, Sri Lanka and Bangladesh. This project, designed after identifying the vital importance of the social and economic development of Russia, Sri Lanka and Bangladesh. These regions distinguish education in engineering and engineering trends. We are a team that represents 14 universities from 7 countries, grouped as 4 program countries and 10 partner countries. We as a team ensure a proper geographical and knowledge balance, also the diversity, because the built environment practices and necessary solutions differ from region to region. The universities of the partner countries are willing to introduce new adapted MOOCs to the different cycles of the built environment and related study programs. All partner universities will participate in the upgrading of BSc, MSc and PhD study programs. The main objective of Project 𝓵 is to upgrade the curricula with 16 new harmonized, multidisciplinary, adaptive MOOC modules on environmental protection technology in Russian, Sri Lankan and Bangladeshi universities. It is to increase their capacity to continually modernize and enhance the quality and relevance of education of students to the global market. Also, the project will spread and promote awareness in the partner countries related to the European Union policies and best practices of energy efficiency and climate change approach towards environmental and energy 2020 targets. Project 𝓵 will consolidate a variety of diverse activities in education quality improvement by delivering extensive distance education programs and a capacity building framework. It will establish an associated network of experts and institutions to continue the knowledge sharing among partner universities.
Well. We have more than 400 attendees through Zoom. I think that is well enough to say that this particular webinar is much more important, and there's a value for everyone, whoever joining from anywhere in the world. So, about Marko, I think Marko, hi. I think you can hear me.
Yes, I can.
Hi, Marko. Well,
Hi.
I think I should brief why we selected Marko as the first presenter for this particular webinar series, which is going to be there for 6 days. Marko, we had two back-to-back unfortunate incident as Sri Lankans. I'm sorry, I'm really focusing the Sri Lankan scenario, but this is really important to anybody. Who's really worried about the climate change and energy efficiency. So I picked this particular point, Marko, up with a reason, because we had two recent incidents with respect to ocean pollution. I could say back-to-back incidents. Two big ships was basically had gone fire close to Sri Lanka. One, it was a near escape. We managed to take that away from Sri Lanka. And the other one that was very unfortunate, even less than 1 month ago, we had a fire in a ship, and unfortunately that is down the sea now. So people believe this will be a real disaster in terms of the ocean pollution worldwide, and some people predict. I'm not going to get the qualitative parameters, but some people believe this particular incident, if this particular ship starts leaking out the crude oil, that will be the biggest ocean pollution happen in the world throughout the history. So we pray for the best. We will hope nothing will happen. But let's say if that happens, even that was not happen, still we have a big issue with the plastics that came to our seashore, and it's a huge pollution from the northern sea to the southern sea. So if anybody coming from another country, you can go to Google and just type and see the issue in the Sri Lankan situation, especially with respect to the ocean pollution. So that's why we picked Marko and we invited Marko, and I'm really this is not the word of thanks, but I think I should thank you for accepting our invitation, Marko, being as a friend. So this event was organized with the personal links, but all these key people has a world branding in terms of their field. So I think I should not. I'm not the correct person to invite or rather introduce Marko. I will invite Vasudha to give the official introduction of Marko. Vasudha, over to you.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, y'all. It is my great honor to introduce Mr. Marko Karkkainen, an expert with a proven track record in the fields of circular economy and environmental protection. Mr. Marko has over 3 decades of experience in circular economy, marketing, branding, and waste management in Europe, US, China, and Asia Pacific. He has provided environmental solutions to numerous municipalities, industries, and residential areas across the globe. Mr. Marko is the founder of Saga City Environmental Private Limited, a high-tech environmental protection enterprise registered in Singapore. He also leads the development and strategic growth for 𝓚𝓷𝓸𝓀 Corporation, an environmentally focused for-profit private company dedicated to saving the seas from pollution. Mr. Marko led the development and strategic growth of 𝓷𝓸𝓀 Private Limited in Asia Pacific, a company with a unique portfolio of patent technology to improve waste management, energy, and food production. As reflected by his impressive resume, Mr. Marko's fields of expertise spans from over many disciplines, including plastics, food waste management, healthcare, and education. Thank you.
Hi, Marko. We have a real big need of your expert advice, 𝓚𝓷𝓸𝓀𝓵, and I'm very sure your experience will be really valued to everybody who will be there. It's more than 450 now, and we have sorry, Marko, you can start your presentation.
Okay, sorry, I didn't hear anything. There was
sorry, I think I had a small disturbance in my network. But I said was, I mean, anybody can. I mean, while Marko is presenting, you can. If you can't, if you need any further clarification, you can type them under chat or Q&A. Then we will pick the most important questions, and we can have a discussion at the end of the presentation. So, would you, Marko, without wasting a single minute, you can start your presentation. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Vasu, can you confirm that everybody is seeing my screen and hearing my voice?
Yeah, Marko, everything fine. You can proceed.
Thank you. Okay. First, thanks a lot that you're having me today. It's really honor to be here and talk about this very important topic. And actually, I have been several times in Sri Lanka, so Sri Lanka is very familiar to me. And I'm waiting for the right time to come back and start the project in Sri Lanka again. I will explain today to you why we are doing this and why our company is so keen to saving the seas. We all know it's a big problem. And we all know there is a lot of action. There is a government actions, there is a non-NGOs action, foundation, volunteers are doing, but nobody can win this war by themselves. So we need companies, we need universities, academies, governments, NGOs. Everybody have to be together. And when we are talking about plastic on the oceans, the one important thing that we can create value chain and make a business case, there have to be a lot of amount of waste collected so we can change it a real energy. And why we are doing this? I'm from Finland, but I have lived last 12 years in Southeast Asia, in Singapore and China before that. So I know the area very well. At the moment, I'm here in Finland, and we have a very beautiful lakes and rivers here. And I feel that everybody should have clean ocean rivers and lakes. And that is our passion. Everybody in our company and our team share that passion. We can tell you numbers. At least 10 million tons plastic leak to the rivers and ocean every year. And there are already 250 million at least. Even though that the people change their habit and not use plastic anymore, there is a lot of work to do still. And the production of new plastic is growing all the time, even though that we are talking about a lot of this. But only 9% of plastic is recycled. And Asia Pacific will be one of the most polluted, which already is. There's a plastic superhighways. This is only like information that the problem is huge. And it's not only Asia, it's also in Middle East, in Europe, even River Thames, canals of Amsterdam. And here in Finland, we have some part of the places that problem that there's a lot of plastic. I visited 1 year ago in Philippines, in Manila and Cebu. And as you can see, the problem is everywhere. And we are starting one project in Cebu end of this summer. Our method on our vessel is very unique. It's patented pending or a unique method to collecting ocean plastic, harmful vegetation, algae, and oil spills. This is our third generation vessel last summer in Helsinki area, and we collected whole summer trash and plastic from the harbors. But I have to say that the amount of collected waste is same that we can collect in Cebu city in Philippines, like 1 or 2 days. And what is our system? Our founder and one of the owner, Mr. Johannes Myllykoski, had the idea 2010 when this Mexican Gulf catastrophe happened, that have to do something, that there have to be some more effective way to collecting oil. But same time when he started to create this system, he realized that he can collect also other materials like a microplastic and harmful vegetation. And the innovation based like a normal flow of the water. We have a suction unit that sucks the water, and capacity is more than 1 million liter water goes to the system in 1 hour. And what is very specific and unique that we can collect 0.5 millimeters particles. And that's opened us a real big market, but at the same time, it's give us an opportunity to cooperate it with the universities, because there's a lack of studies about the microplastic. If somebody in Sri Lanka or Bangladesh, wherever Russia want to start research project together with us, please call me, we are ready every day. Our system, even so it's small, its capacity is 200 cubic meters per hour up to, and it depends what kind of logistic system you have in your country or area. Then we make a decision what kind of waste containers we use. The first 𝓚𝓷𝓸𝓀 system is created or measured that we can feed it in the sea container, 40 cubic sea container. And this gives us an opportunity to send it very fast all over the world if something happens when you are talking oil catastrophe. This is some examples what we have done. We are ongoing project together with the US Army Engineering Corps in Florida. We have done in project in Helsinki. We have collected our home city, Kokkola, western part of Finland, Eurasian water milfoil, which is very sticky and problematic plant in a harbor area in Kokkola. And we were the first company who really make a change happen. They have used 7 or 8 companies before us. Our presence and at the moment globally, we are starting project in Nicaragua. We have ongoing project in Florida. We have tested our system more than 12 countries. Beginning of August, we start a project in Cebu in Philippines. Now we got the call that there is some project in Manila is coming up. Then we are going to Africa. We have done and sign MOUs, couple of lakes in Africa to remove water hyacinth, but also plastics. This is one example of our project, which is started in August 2021. It's the city of Cebu, and there's 7 rivers which are going to the city, and we have done the project of MOU and agreement that we start 3 months research and pilot project, and after that we are continue 36 months cleaning as a service, but we still continue research. At the same time, one of my key tasks is creating a method or business plan that how we can make this cleaning project sustainable and bankable. That whatever we are collecting, we have a partner company, local or foreign company who take care of that material. So the best part of the plastic goes our partner in Bali, who work with the Adidas, Starbucks, and American Express. Then if we are collecting some organic materials, we have a different partner for that. Sometimes it goes to biogas. In Florida, what we are collecting, that we use that organic material for fertilizer. So there's many options, but you have to know those opportunities, and you have to really know that area. And then you can make a choice that which option is best in that typical area. Some cases, what we done last year here in Finland, because the COVID hit us also, because we cannot send our people in Florida and in Asia at that time. But we used that time also working here in Finland, different kind of plants, like Canadian pondweed, Eurasian watermilfoil, and the others. And the result were more than perfect, that we are happy, and the most important thing that the customers are happy. As you can see in the right side picture, and this is in Kokkola, western part of Finland, so with this Eurasian watermilfoil is a big problem, even though you cannot see when you're looking from the shore, but it influences biodiversity and the fishermen's businesses and the recreational activities like boating and swimming. This I want to, before I go to plastic, a couple of words about Lake Okeechobee, which is the 9th biggest lake in US. And we are collecting their algae. And it's a huge problem in Florida area. American government have allocated more than $5 billion for this problem, because it's a problem which influences the people. People get some problem with that algae. But we are collecting the algae, and our Finnish partner using that and making fertilizers. And that seems to be excellent solution for this lake, and we will expand this solution for the other lakes in US, but also in Africa as well. My favorite topic is the value chain. My background is 30 years in the waste management and recycle business. And when I started this presentation, I told you that nobody can win this war by themselves. You have to reunite it together with universities, corporates, everybody. And we are looking for partners all the time. I can mention here in 𝓚𝓚𝓻𝓲𝓸𝓀 Industries, a Malaysian company who have done 18-year plastic recycle business. Partly for the ocean. We are very fascinated to start a collaboration with them because they have a big customers and there is a real impact. But first thing that we have to get enough material to deliver. Ocean Works is a United American company. They make a agreement deal with the UKK, which is the biggest chipper manufacturer in the world. 𝓚𝓚 is a Spanish company. There has been in the eco-fashion business since 2009. And when we are talking about energy, there is a lot of plastic materials what you can't use in recycled business. You can't use it in a new sneaker. There's a lot of soft plastic, single-use plastic. And there's a new companies, small and big, and there's a big or huge solution for that. One example, a recently American company who have a solution for the smaller part amounts. And this is how we can win this war, that we have a different solution, depends the area. Everybody can work together. More often, people are thinking that it's only that you are collecting waste from the rivers and so, and it's nice. Okay, it's nice. But if you are looking for the bigger impact, you have to unite it with the others. And then it can be like a solution. Those soft plastic materials, you can do reload plastic to the diesel or the other materials as well. We have many excellent companies here in Finland. Waste to energy solution, waste to electricity solution. But you have to know those, and you have to understand area where you live and where you work and where you offer the solution. So solutions are already there, but somebody has to be like a captain or director to show the direction for the people. And what we are also, I'm very fascinated at the moment, there's quite many companies all over the world are talking about chemical recycling of plastic waste. And that opens companies like us a lot of opportunity, but it's also open opportunity to save this planet, because those materials which are not valid for the recycle companies can on future also use in a chemical recycling. And that's way you can support global reduction of plastic waste and help phase out of landfilling. You can create a new job in Europe and everywhere, in Sri Lanka as well. And if somebody talking about chemical or mechanical recycling, we need both. I will say many times during this presentation that we need to cooperate together with the Sri Lanka government, together with the local corporates and us. And this ecosystem, I want to show and highlight this, that why it's so important that we work together. Our company is founded in 2018, but already like less than 3 years, we have created an ecosystem that we are bigger than we are by ourselves. We have a lot of connections and agreements with the material buyers. They are environmental companies, recycling companies, fashion companies, and every day there will be more and more. Nowadays, we work with many universities here in Finland, and together with the Finnish Research Institute, Finnish National Agency, we are going to start a collaboration in Fraunhofer, Cebu Technological University. And together with our vessel and our experience, we can create more studies and we can understand more better, how big and what kind of problem we have with an ocean and marine plastic. Left corner are the partners. So we work also together with the engine manufacturers, hydraulic manufacturers to find the most sustainable way to build up our vessels. Now we are starting projects that on future our vessel be autonomous. So if some where in the world, in the harbor area, wherever it happens, there's a patrol of vessels of 𝓚𝓷. And one of our partners started already discussion with the institutional banks that what if that they and we have an emergency unit which can send, like in Sri Lanka, when this kind of oil catastrophe happens, because there is always 2, 3, 4, 5 days that nothing happens. There's an insurance company, there's an owner of the ship, there's a local government, all the stakeholders, and it always takes that, you know, the nature cannot wait that 3 to 4 days. And our mission and our vision is that on the future, there's a 𝓚𝓷 emergency fleet that we can send those critical days everywhere. We have won quite many awards within these 3 years, and we use accelerators program. And actually, 23rd of this month, we have a final in Port Excel, which is organized by Port of Rotterdam. And if we win that program, we are in there, and the Port of Rotterdam and 200 marine-related companies secure us a commercial project. And we see that there's a huge opportunity for us, and it's a huge opportunity in nature that then after that, everybody knows in marine technology business, us. We collaborated with the Finnish government. We are lucky that the Finnish government is very supportive, especially in sustainability, circular economy and recycled related topics. I have already mentioned many times in research, but it's very, very, very important for us. We even have our own marine biologist in our company, Mr. Stepan Budimir. He's a Croatian, but lived here in Finland more than 5 years, and we worked in the Finnish Environmental Institute before us. So we want every day when we are making a cleaning work or we are cleaning harbors, we want to learn more, and we want to share this information with the others as well. We are part of United Nations Environmental Program as well, and Global Partners of Marine Litter. I was so excited about that issue that I did a certificate and study in the Swedish Hanken Business School about how to organize this Sustainable Development Goals. And these are like a guidelines for us that we want to follow, and our customers also. And on future, we have started already negotiation and certified companies that on the future we have like a blockchain or whatever system that wherever we're collecting something, we can trace that down. I saw you a short video how our system like work basically. There is no music because it was so horrible, I took it away. But the idea is that the vessel size at the moment is very compact that you can set it by sea container, and you can fit narrow rivers as well at the lakes and oceans. Everybody else are using brushing system or only conveyor belts, and it's not effective method. We have a suction system, and we use the normal flow of the water, and that makes our system very effective. And we have a special filtering system that we can separate those 0.5 size particles. And it's very scalable, and we can use one vessel with booms, or we can use several vessels together to cover a bigger area. as I told you, our company has founded 2018, but we have a strong partners and we have gained a lot of attention in media, but also in webinars, seminars all over the world. We organized last year a panel about ocean plastic, and we have a very prestigious panel together with us. There is a Itochu company in Japan, Alliance to End Plastic Waste, 𝓔𝓷𝓸𝓀𝓀 Industries, Pali for the Oceans, and 𝓔𝓷𝓸𝓀𝓀𝓀 from Aquafield Group. Aquafield Group have used fishing net around 20 years already. Alliance to End Plastic Waste do very remarkable work for the how to prevent, raise the awareness and cleaning of marine plastic. They have allocated $1.5 billion for the next 5 years, this work. I already told you, I mentioned about we have won awards. We have awarded 5 top startups creating marine biomass solution. We are 5 hot startup towards removing plastic waste from the oceans. And everything started 2018 when our founder, Mr. Johannes Myllykoski, won 𝓚𝓚𝓻𝓲𝓀𝓚 Baltic Sea project first prize. That was a trigger for our company. British governments have also rewarded us with the 𝓚𝓷𝓸𝓀𝓀 award. We were best in Finland, top 3 in Scandinavia, and now the British government helped us to work together with the Commonwealth countries. We are part of the EU programs as well, and we get the support from the EU. Our company is headquartered in Kokkola, small town, city in the western part of Finland, but administrations and sales we have in Helsinki, and then we have an office in Singapore. I have lived last 7 years in Singapore, but last 1 year I have been here in Finland because the COVID situation. But we also understand situation in Asia. And I worked 𝓚𝓷𝓸𝓀, but I'm also head of the Waste to Value Center in Singapore, which help governments create the right decisions and laws and regulations. And I want to involve everything, because when you see the bigger, wider picture, then you can find the real solution and how to cooperate and which company, which government, how we can make a more bigger impact. Actually, that was what I would present today, and I hope that we can create a discussion around this topic. Over to you, Rampika.
Marko, thank you very much. It's a nice presentation, and I mean it's a timely presented, and I mean I think you have done the justice for the Sri Lankan need. Marko, there are a lot of questions, but before that, I really love to highlight one thing you mentioned about these single-use plastics. I mean, mainly due to COVID pandemic situation, people tend to go with a lot of single-use plastics, even the face masks and the glove to the PPE. So everybody, I mean, they're reluctant. It's I mean, medically they are not allowed to wear it a second time, so it will be automatically become a single-use plastic. So that will be a huge problem. I think Marko will join with, and he's going to join with the University of Morituri to continue a lot of ocean related plastics and single-use plastics. And one interesting point you raised about this that is about you were talking about nobody can win on their own. I always use the same slogan, Marko. I mean, 1 + 1 is 2 in mathematics. But when it comes to people, 1 + 1 will be millions. That's all depend on our capacity and also our intention to work together, work in a team. So more we jointly working in a team than working in our silos, we'll be able to do a lot. And everybody knows that we came here not to live forever. We will die one day, but we should make sure we are doing the minimum damage to the nature, and the next generation will be able to, you know, satisfy their needs and enjoy the same happiness. So that is sustainability. So once again, thank you, Marko. And there are a lot of questions from the audience, and still, I mean, a lot of people are waiting to hear your the explanations. So I think there's, I mean, pardon with me, there are a lot of questions related to Sri Lankan scenario, because I mean, people are really worried, and they always, I mean, like the political end to the layman's, they're trying to solve this particular matter, because it has become a real issue, and people don't eat fish now in Sri Lanka because they're scared of these ocean plastics. So there are a lot of questions related to that. So one big one question raised by I'm not going to tell the names, otherwise I'll take a lot of time on telling their names. So one was questioning about this international legal framework, Marko. The question is, what are the international legal framework set up for ships and shippers who transport chemicals? Can you give a small briefing, Marko?
Yeah, I don't go to details, but there are. But normally the problem is that, you know, the decision making is quite slow, because there is always, you know, the shipper company, the owner of the ship, there is a insurance company, and there is a local government. And last year I discussed during the weekend when Mauritius have a similar oil catastrophe. And WWF local team start to work there, but at the same time they have a discussion with the owner, and I called the Minister of Environment in Japan. I discussed the big corporates in Japan, can they influence, can they push the owner of the boat that something can happen? And at the same time they were in a legal right way, and they discussed with the insurance company, and then the insurance company sent their own chosen company in Mauritius. But that already took like 2 or 3 days. So there is a lot of problem occur already, and damage has done. And that's why I already told in my presentation that our vision is that one day there is a global emergency unit, which are funded maybe World Bank or United Nations that when the politicians or corporate or insurance company are fighting together or discussing together, there's somebody is doing already like a cleaning project which really influence in a big way.
Thanks, Marko. There's another small question which related to the fish question. I mean, let's say a ship owner is carrying some harmful chemicals. So, I mean, their responsibility is to anyhow carry the chemical bundle from one port to another port. But let's say they failed in between, like what was happening in Sri Lanka. So, what are the things they should follow? I mean, let's say they fail to obey with the law. So, what should be the next step?
If I can make a decision, you know, all those owners and the ships have to be prepared a real plan. When something happens, that they have a good equipment to do this first, like a first aid, that they can have a boom or something, different kind of system that they can cover the area, that it don't expand too much. But it's always money, and that's the sad thing.
And the political and all the other connections with the top level people. Well, that's beyond the control. Marko, going back to the questions, but before that, I think I'm supposed to do a small announcement to all the participants. If you have any clarifications from Marko, please don't hesitate. You can type on the Q&A question and answer session, and also you can use the chat and you can raise your point. So I'm sorry, we will not be able to keep the speaker or the mic on for you to ask questions directly from Marko, but you can type your questions in the Q&A and the chat. So there's another interesting questions, and he was questioning about this. I'll read the questions as it is. It says sanitary soil fixation method are normally ongoing processes for waste management, and the question is, can we do those for these cases too, or can't we quickly process and cure immediately? So that was what she has typed. So sanitary soil fixation method. So that was used in many ongoing processes. So can't we use that particular process to fix this particular issue in Sri Lanka?
Yes, actually, we have also offered our solution to Sri Lanka as well. So we are ready to send, you know, our vessel immediately wherever something happens. But the sanitary soil fixation methods, I can't see why they can't use it. But I think it's always political and money issue. And those chemical ships are always, you know, there is an owner is somewhere and the ship is flagged, like in your case, I don't remember what is the owner country, but it's flagged to the Singapore and a crew was in Russia. So there is already 3 or 4 countries involved. And then insurance company 4th or 5th country. So it's very complicated. So I think, and we have to create a political push, or the people you know, raise their hands or climb into the wall, and now it's stopped and we have to do something. But even though we do something, there's always mistakes, there is always catastrophe, there is always something happen. And we even here in Finland, we have a good system for the oil spill response and mostly of the things, but then we also have a Baltic Sea, a lot of traffic in Baltic Sea, and if something really big happen, I'm not sure that we are ready for that. And that's why we have to unite it and work together, that we can create a new system. And if something happens, it's not always the one guy who is paying that.
Good. Thanks, Marko. One was basically wishing your project a success, and at the same time, there's another question parallel to the wishes. The question is, how can we ensure that it is not harm to the fishes and other living beings? Because I mean, we can find a lot of solutions to restore the coastline, but will that harm the ocean species or the lives of the people who are living in the sea?
You mean this our method, or?
Yeah, your method.
No, actually, after this webinar, I can share with you, and you can send it over to share it. But my marine biologists have done this biodiversity report. But the fun fact is that we were in Florida, and there was a turtle which went through our system, and then our captain picked it up, and the turtle bite his finger and continue his voyage. And we are collecting waste, floating waste, or floating, oil, like a 50 centimeter, 500 millimeters on surface.
Right. I have another. I mean, this is not there in the either in the Q&A or in the chat. So that's a big fear in Sri Lankans who especially eat fish these days. They're reluctant to eat fish because they feel, because of this particular incident happening in the sea, the fish has become toxic, and we have seen the dead fish and the seashore, and inside them we managed to find the plastic pellets. So what do you think, Marko? I mean, this is not the first incident in the world, so for us it's very new. So how can you recommend, how can you guide us to do be safe and tackle the matter?
Yeah, we have offered our system, and we have started collaboration some fish farmers or fish farming industry, because there's a lot of fish farms, and we have an idea that on future our system is driving around of farming and collecting the microplastic. That's a part what we can do, and I think it's a quite nice idea. In Singapore, the government is putting a lot of investment this kind of system, and we want to be a part of that. We are collecting the microplastic, and not only microplastic or macroplastic, also organic matter plantation is harmful. We have a discussion with some Caribbean countries where sargassum is a big problem. And a couple of years back, I didn't knew that how big influence it's from fishing industry. Those areas which have a sargassum problem, some typical or some most valuable fishes decrease more than 52% because of sargassum. So there's many aspects, many angles what we can tackle. One is this microplastic, but at the same time, one part is algae or water hyacinths or sargassum. So there's a huge task, a lot of work to do with all of us.
Right, Marko. I mean, we are getting a lot of questions from the participants. Still, we have more than 450 people who joined with the webinar. So, Marko, there's another interesting question. I don't know whether we'll be able to go for legal actions, but the question is, if there's such incidents happening in the ocean environment, what are the institutes where we can get the legal assistance? I don't know whether that particular person is willing to go for a legal action, but that should be done by respective the political bodies and the government. But anyway, I think that that proves our Sri Lankans are very, very watchful on what is happening in the sea. So that alarms us to be alert on what is happening and to protect the sea. So Marko, what are the institutes available to get the support, especially on the legal side?
That's a good question, and I'm not the right person to answer that. But that I always shouting, this collaboration, and we have to work together. But there is a European regulation and also US regulation that we can also using in Asian countries as well. But I think that you in Sri Lanka have to raise your hand and shout now that something has to change. And after this seminar, if you can send me those questions so I can discuss with my team, I think that we can get the legal issues and also this if it's talking about biodiversity, or we can answer those later on.
Yeah, thanks, Marko. I mean, we are collecting all the questions which we even can't raise and get the clarifications from you live, but we will definitely share that with you, and we will be able to make a small documentary and share that with everybody for their future needs. You talking about your machine, which was which with the small nice video. There you talked about I think the plastic, the minimum size was 0.5 millimeters. That is not going into the microplastic level. So many around the world now we talk about this microplastic issue, Marko. What do you think? I mean, what is your experience? Is it really harmful, or whether if it is really harmful, how can we, get this particular microplastics out of the sea?
Yeah, good question. And even here in Finland, we are a lot of talking about microplastics last 2 years. And this is not anything about Sri Lanka, but it's very important here in Finland because we have a lot of snow. And our capital city in Helsinki is surrounded by have a coastal line. And of course, the narrow street, and you have to collect in snow. And then they dump it to the sea. And there's a lot of plastic, there is a lot of trash, and there is a microplastic. And we did in last winter pilot project. We are collected the snow. Because we have our own innovation that we use sea water temperature, and we spray to the water and we melt it down, and then we filter it all the microplastic away. And at the same time, there's other companies who are done in the water system that they are collecting which from the car tires and winter tires and even football fields. We have this artificial grass, and they use rubber in the field, and that goes to when it's raining, go to the sewage system. And there's some companies which are collecting the microplastic, and it's a huge amount. So we have to open our eyes and find the way how we are collecting microplastic. It's a real problem and a huge problem, and I think there is no enough knowledge at the moment.
Thanks, Marko. There was a huge, write-up from one friend from Indonesia, and he was claiming that Indonesia is about 70% is a coastal country. I mean, it's obvious Indonesia has a real big problem, because I'm also working with Central Lancashire University and Indonesia. We are working on a project to mitigate the coastal plastic problem in Sri Lanka and Indonesia. It's ongoing, another project we are working together. So I know Indonesia has a big problem with the ocean plastics. They are very much attached to the coastline. And he was pointing your institute as well. You're dealing with Thailand, but Indonesia is also going to keep in touch with you. Can you slightly brief on the projects happening in Thailand and Indonesia?
Yeah, actually my background is waste management. I have done quite many projects in Indonesia. And 2019, I was a part of the team. We made a waste management study to city of Bogor. And because this sanitary landfill problem, because they have like a centralized sanitation landfill, but the long point was like 68 kilometers to the landfill. So the local entrepreneurs, sometimes they dump it on the river or sea or a jungle. And we calculated that in one city in Indonesia, 180 tons plastic disappeared somewhere every single day. 180 tons. It's like a 12, 14 trucks. And in Indonesia, I have a lot of information and studies about that. It's one of my favorite subjects. It's not so easy. And when you talk waste to energy, waste to value, you have to discuss with the local government and then the federal government, and then you have to discuss with the local electricity company. And so not so easy, but doable.
Thanks, Marko. Another interesting question. I'm sorry, I'm loading you too much, but anyway, we need to answer these questions as well. I know this is not really exactly exactly your area, but I really need to ask this particular question because of the curiosity of the audience, the attendees. You're talking about the ocean plastic, marine plastics, but Sri Lanka, we have a high risk, and we really fear to see these liquid polluters, like especially the oil. So if there's an oil fill, is there any machine developed by you or with you to protect this particular sea with a sort of a liquid polluter?
Our system is good like a marine diesel because it's thinner than the crude oil. We tested a couple weeks back in the western part, eastern part of Finland, and our result was 100 times better than conventional system. So we see that there's a, but at the moment we are focusing oils, plastic, and harmful vegetation.
Yeah, thanks. Well, again, this is a bit of a crazy question. I mean, we talked about these microplastics. I mean, it's obvious that we'll not be able to take this microplastic away from the coastline and the sea water, and that will be everywhere. I mean, everywhere the microplastic will be there, and yes, that is harmful for the human being. What do you think about this, Marko? I mean, we definitely have to live with microplastic. Will that be a big problem in the future, or is it manageable?
No, it's big problem already. And then luckily there's other companies as well who are tackling this problem. I know a few companies in Europe who have developed innovative system that you can already collect in your personal washing machine. That you have filters that they take a microplastic washing machine at your home away. And in Finland, because we have this football field, I already system for that the rubber plastic doesn't go to the sewage system. And I don't say the country, but I had a discussion with the one big project, and they know that they don't have a visible plastic problem, that they feel that they have a huge microplastic problem, and now they hold the whole project because that they don't want to see the answer, the real situation. And that's why, even though that I'm a businessman and we want to impact and save the world and save the seas via business, same time I can see that there's not enough information. And when we get that information, we and the other companies can create a new solution and innovative things and work together with the scientists.
Thank you. We are getting one after the other questions. Well, are we going to entertain all these questions, or are we going to wind up? That is my biggest worry, whether we are going to continue with this thing. Marko, we talked about the ocean plastic. I know that is your expertise area, but will there be any problem with? I mean, in Sri Lanka, we have seen these days a lot of these old vehicles, even vehicles or even ships. We just dump into the sea to have the marine ecosystem running well, especially to group corals and these the marine the structure to be stable. Is it a good practice, Marko? What do you think with your experience? Even burying the ship, we one believe that okay, it's good. I mean, okay, we created a structure inside the sea, below the sea. And that will help the marine biodiversity to run. What do you think, Marko? What is your experience on this thing?
Now, there's a many angles to tackle this problem and think this problem, because in our company, and I see that we have to raise awareness, we have to train the people, and about microplastic, you have to tackle that problem already on rivers. You have to collect the plastic on the rivers. Our system is not the best system in offshore. We can collect in plastic on shore, harbor areas, and rivers. But the latest study, which has done in Wageningen University in Netherlands, there's more than 1,000 rivers, which I think it was 70 to 80%, they produce the world marine plastic problem.
Thanks, Marko. One is asking your email address, and he has copied to the panelists, not to everybody. With your permission, we'll be able to share your email address with the participants. I mean, if they really feel they want to get any clarification later. Well,
of course.
Thank you. Vasudha, you'll be able to share his email address to the attendees, so they can directly write to Marko. Marko, we are a small country. Our extent is only 65,000 square kilometers, and right around the country we have a nice coastline. But unfortunately, due to this particular recent incident, one side, I could say half of the coastline, I can say it's at a risk now. So everybody talked about the coastal pollution and the coastline. One is due to the climate change, the sea level is rising. Every year there's a small, like at least 3 to 4 millimeters, the sea level is going up. And let's say within 100 years, it will go up by, say 300 millimeters. It is roughly 1 foot. And we all know that with the global warming, the climate change, or the rising the temperature is about 4 to 5 centigrades within this next 50 years. So it's a huge problem, Marko. And as a coastal country, we are facing this at a great extent. The reason is we had a nice seashore when we were kids, rather 30-40 years ago. We could easily walk on the seashore, and we could experience the real beauty of the sea. But unfortunately, everywhere now, about 80% of the I think I'm ready to, I'm wrong to say it's 80%, but majority of the beautiful coastlines we had are now covered with rubble. So we have the rubble line and a breakwater. So that is what has happened to Sri Lanka. I mean, that is obviously the issue in Thailand, even Indonesia, and all these coastal countries. So we are losing the satisfaction with the sea. That is one side of the story. Other side of the story is this marine plastic, and we can't see what is inside or inside the sea. It's a huge lot of plastics, and we have seen a lot of plastic islands in the sea now.
Yes.
So it's a huge problem which we created as humans. Marko, over to you to make the last comment on this particular issue. I think we should educate. We have to open our eyes, and we have to be vigilant on what is happening around us. If you don't act now, I think tomorrow we will be really late to act on this matter. Marko, up to you for your last comment.
Thank you. It was fascinating webinar, and I have to say that I can help you, and my colleagues and our partners can help you. We can calculate it, how much revenue you can get out of those ocean plastic, marine plastic. But at the same time, we can calculate it, how much countries use at the moment those problems with the marine plastic. And one good topic is that I was surprised that the basic or average cost of oil when they are collecting from the sea is $10,000 per liter. So why the governments and countries build up, the system? If something happens, they can collect, clean the sea immediately. And we are not talking about that kind of sum of money that they use when something happens. That's my last word. And
thanks, Marko. I have no words to thank you. It was a very interesting, very nice presentation, Marko. And thanks to keeping with us. And I hope we have a better future together in terms of research, and that will be a mutual. It's sort of a win-win situation for you and us as a country. We definitely seek the professional expertise from your end, and we have the issue in Sri Lanka, and you have the solution. I think it's a matter of joining together. As I told earlier, I mean, 1 + 1 is not 2. When you and I, or when you and Sri Lanka join together, we will be able to save the whole. I mean, at least we will be able to do something to safeguard this particular beautiful world. So with that, I once again thank Marko for being with us, and I wish to thank all the attendees. It's again still more than 400 attendees still there with us. So I thank everybody who attended today's event. And this is not the end of this particular workshop series. So we have another 5 more days. Tomorrow is another interesting presenter is coming to join with us. That is Percy, Dr. Percy, and he's going to talk about save energy by not wasting it. So that's another very interesting topic as Sri Lankan. So we have a huge problem with energy, and one side we don't have enough energy sources in the country. The other side we just waste them, even though we are in a tropical climatic setup where we have enough sunlight, but we don't use it properly. That's a different story. But saving energy, how that help to satisfy yourself and to be sustainable in the future. So I hope everyone will join for tomorrow's presentation as well. We will start on time as today. So we started on time, sharp 8 o'clock from Sri Lankan time. So we started on sharp on the time. So we hope to do the same tomorrow. So once again, thanks Marko, and thanks all the attendees, and have a pleasant evening and good night. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.